Today I'm beginning a series called Amazing Ireland Experiences, and we're starting with round towers. Hi, thanks so much for joining me again here on the Traveling in Ireland podcast. On today's podcast, I'm starting a new, I suppose you could call it a series, that is going to focus on amazing Ireland experiences. When many people begin planning their Ireland vacation, they kind of start with a bucket list of things to see and do. But as planning continues, they realize maybe they can't do it all, or they can't do it in a single trip, and there are things they may wish to come back to. This series is designed to offer alternatives that maybe will give a similar experience to some of those sites that might be on your itinerary but just don't quite fit in. So this is hopefully going to help make your planning just a little bit easier. Today's topic is round towers, and I am so excited to share this with you because I love I love a great round tower. But before we dig in, I want to give you one more bit of advice. One of your most powerful tools for your Ireland vacation is a plan. And my Ireland vacation planner and journal follows the exact steps that I use when I plan Ireland itineraries for people or when I plan my own tours. It has 4 sections: planning, itinerary, travel tips, and a journal. And it leads you through each step to create the Ireland trip that you have been dreaming about. You're going to find easy to use worksheets, loads of advice, fun journaling prompts that will help you remember your Ireland vacation for years to come. The My Ireland Vacation Planner and Journal is available exclusively at Ireland Family Vacations, and you can find it at irelandfamilyvacations.com/planner, PLANNER. Don't forget to use code podcast10 to save 10%. All right, now we are going to jump into round towers in Ireland. The most unique thing I think about round towers is that they are an Irish structure. You will only find 3 ancient round towers outside of Ireland, and they're just like right outside of Ireland. So you're talking Scotland and the Scottish Isles. In Irish, they're called cloitheach, which means bell house, and they were probably built between 9th and 12th centuries. So what I'm sharing today are the round towers that people probably have on their itinerary, additional options that you may want to consider, and a couple of really special round towers that you should definitely visit if your itinerary takes you near these locations. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. There are so many more round towers in Ireland in a state of ruin or even complete. So these are just some that I think can fit into almost any itinerary and provide a really great visit. Now, at least 120 round towers are thought to have existed in Ireland, um, throughout the centuries, right? But today there are about 20 that survive in complete condition. And I'm just shooting you not even, well, maybe just over half of those. So here we go. Yay. Okay. So the popular round towers that people might have on their itinerary or have definitely heard of. There's a handful of these, and in all honesty, quite a few of these fit into your average Ireland itinerary. The first being at the monastic settlement of Glendalough, which is located in the Wicklow Mountains. It's a super popular day trip if you're staying in Dublin. Also a really great trip if you're heading to Cork or Kilkenny to kind of fit in to that drive day. Now, the round tower stands in the valley of the 2 lakes, which is what Glendalough means. It means the valley between the lakes. And it kind of presides over the monastic settlement that has a cemetery, churches, and a cathedral. And there's quite a lot to do in that area. There's some terrific walks. The visitor center is great. And honestly, on a fine day, this is a perfect place to spend an afternoon. Clonmacnoise is another spot that some people may have heard of or have on their itinerary. This is located almost, it's just right off the road of that, or right, yeah, kind of right off that main thoroughfare between Dublin and Galway. And it was actually a major center of learning between the 8th and the 12th centuries. And even at that time, it was a really important crossroads of ancient Ireland. It was right off the River Shannon, so it sits actually right on the River Shannon, and then a crossroads that went across the bogs. You're going to find two round towers here. One's missing a top, the other one's complete. And Clonmacnoise also has three high crosses, and the cross of the scriptures is absolutely magnificent. It's about 13 feet tall. It's indoors now, out of the elements, and it's a really, really fascinating high cross. So Clonmacnoise, again, is County Offaly, right almost at the border of County Galway. The next spot that people have probably got on their itinerary, but they're not really thinking about the round tower for this visit, is the Rock of Cashel in County Tipperary. So this was the traditional seat of the kings of Munster until 1101, when it was donated to the church by the reigning king of the time. The round tower on top of that rocky outcropping is actually the oldest structure on the site. And to be honest, the sight of this magnificent castle sitting on top of this, basically it just looks like this massive rock out of the ground. It's awesome. I really think that this is what the word awesome was made to describe. It will leave you in awe when you first catch sight of it as you are driving toward Cashel. And then the final one that a lot of people have probably maybe heard of a little bit or have on their list is a pilgrimage to Kells in County Meath, mainly because that's where the Book of Kells gets its name from. It was held there until 1654 before it was presented to Trinity College in 1661. And that's where you will see the Book of Kells today, is at Trinity College in Dublin. The round tower in Kells, still standing. It has lost its cap. And a lot of people may not really think of that round tower when they're thinking about a visit to Kells. They might be considering the five amazing high crosses. They're in various states of, I don't want to say decay. That's a really bad word for it. But some high crosses, they were built of separate stones, so some have fallen, some are broken, and then some are still standing. So anyway, those are the four sites that maybe round tower wise people might have on their itinerary: Glendalough, Clonmacnoise, the Rock of Cashel, and Kells. Now, if you're looking to add a round tower to your itinerary, but none of those really fit the bill, or they're not quite on the route you plan to take, I'm going to share some of my absolute favorite round towers. The first is the Rattoo Round Tower. So it's Rattoo, like tattoo, but with an R. So this is in County Kerry, and it's actually the very first round tower that I ever saw in Ireland. It was my first trip. It was 2002. I was driving the coast, um, basically from Ballybunion down to Kerry. This is now known as the Wild Atlantic Way, but at that time it was literally just a super small road along the coast. And I saw this cone like out in the distance, just sticking up above the ground. And so I just kind of pointed my car toward it, and the road became more narrow, and soon it became just like this little two-wheel rutted path. And there it was, this magnificent round tower. I had it all to myself. It was probably one of the most magical moments I had in Ireland. I almost felt like I had discovered something. Obviously, there were OPW signs there that told me I was not the first person to discover it, but it was a magical moment nonetheless. It is the only complete round tower in County Kerry, and it also has a Sheila na gig. Now, this is a carving that it's kind of meant to uh, sort of fertility is what it connects to. There are a lot of theories on Sheila na gigs, but they are kind of rare, and it's kind of special to spot one. So if you're on a Sheila and a gig hunt, the Ratu Round Tower in County Kerry has one. My next round tower that I want to share with you is in Ardmore of County Waterford. This may be, it may be my absolute favorite or second favorite round tower. So Ardmore in Waterford is believed to be the oldest Christian settlement in Ireland, founded by St. Declan probably in the 5th century. Now the round tower sits on this hill that overlooks the town below and then the ocean. Um, and the tower dates from around the 12th century. For me, it marks the end of the cliff walk, but it could be the beginning depending on how you walk it, right? But for us, when we do the cliff walk in Ardmore, we start at the beach, we follow the coast past St. Declan's Stone, we go up the hill, it's really steep, past the Cliff House Hotel, which is an amazing place to stay, and then it leads you to the Holy Well, the early ruined church, and then you follow the coast path all the way around the cliffs to the cathedral and the churchyard where you find the round tower. So Ardmore, County Waterford, terrific, terrific round tower, great cliff walk. The next one is Kilmadu in the Kilmadu Monastery in County Galway. Now, if you're driving between Galway City and the Cliffs of Moher, this is not far off your path. It's kind of near the small town of Gort. And this round tower is noted as being the tallest standing round tower in Ireland. Makes a really nice stop. There are some nice signs and things there to kind of help you get a feel for the monastery and the history there. And then finally, Scattery Island. This is another one that's really, really good. Scattery Island is in the Shannon Estuary, and you would catch the boat in County Clare, and the island itself is owned by the Office of Public Works, or the OPW. Scattery Island Tours does daily sailings out to Scattery Island throughout the year. And then once you're on Scattery, then you have the OPW guides there to give you a terrific tour around the island. And then you can stay and explore on your own. So there's also 7 small churches, a holy well, a lighthouse, and an artillery battery there. So it's really a great spot to explore on your own. The unique thing about the round tower at Scattery Island is that the door is at ground level. On most round towers, the door is going to be, oh gosh, at least, I'm going to say 12 feet or a story off the ground. And that was actually, it was for the stability of the round tower. And you might hear that it was also so that the monks could take refuge in the round tower if they were being attacked. I think that's been proven to be not the case as people have learned more and more, because you set fire to it and everything goes up. It's kind of a death trap. But nonetheless, the round tower on Scattery has the door at the ground level, which is very unique. Now, in County Mayo at Turlock Abbey, the round tower there, it's kind of a funny one because it's kind of short and squat. If you've seen other round towers, this one seems squat. So that's just really the best word for it. Now, the interesting thing about this spot is this abbey is one of few that survived the dissolution of the monasteries by Henry VIII and by Oliver Cromwell. So, kind of a little special thing about that. If you visit the National Museum of Ireland Country Life in Castlebar, it's really close by. You can actually see the round tower from the museum. So putting those two together make a really, really nice visit, especially if you're in and around the Mayo, Westport, Achill Island area. Great way to spend a couple days. And then finally, we're going to head up to Northern Ireland. There's a round tower that is locally known as the Steeple in Antrim. Antrim is a town in Northern Ireland. It's also the name of the county. But this is all that remains of an ancient monastic settlement there. And nearby it's a large, I don't want to call it a boulder, but it's pretty big. It's called the Witch's Stone. And the story of that being that a witch was upset about the construction of the tower, or in some stories, she constructed the tower, climbed to the top, jumped off. She either landed on the stone or tripped and fell on the stone and left the impression of her knee and her elbow into the stone. And legend says that one hollow of that stone never runs dry. Not hard to imagine being up there in Northern Ireland, where it tends to be a little rainy, a little windy, but it's a great story. All right, and I'm going to leave you with 3 ancient round towers that you can climb. Um, I know I've often said there are 2. I recently found out about this third one. I'm not sure exactly how I missed it, but there are 3 ancient round towers in Ireland that you can climb. Kind of as an aside, I also want to mention that the round tower at Glasnevin Cemetery, which is in Dublin, and it was built in 1855 to commemorate political leader Daniel O'Connell. Now, that tower can also be climbed, but it's a lot easier and not quite as impressive as scaling an ancient round tower. So, uh, climbable round tower number 1 is just west of Dublin at Kildare Cathedral. This is in Kildare town, in Kildare County, also known as St. Bridget's Cathedral. And it was built on the site of the Celtic Christian abbey that was said to be founded by St. Bridget. The round tower there can be climbed. The cone top has been removed. It's more, I don't know, flat-ish with security wire. Wire is not the right word, but like a security fencing at the top. And it does have some Romanesque decoration around the doorway, so take a peek at that. You will also find in this cathedral a Sheelin-a-gig, which is really, really rare to see within a cathedral. So once you visit the round tower and take a climb, be sure to see if you can track down that Sheelin-a-gig in the cathedral. The second place where you can climb an ancient round tower is at St. Canice's Cathedral in Kilkenny. Now, Kilkenny has this medieval mile. It's 1 mile from point to point, and it runs from the cathedral to Kilkenny Castle. The round tower there was built in the 9th century. It's another one where the top cone has been removed, and it's got battlements and safety oh goodness, safety bars, safety metal at the top to keep you safe. Very steep to climb this one. You kind of start on, it's laddered, right? And so it's got a nice angle as you start, and then as you get to the top, you're almost climbing straight up. But it really is a terrific experience. The cathedral in Kilkenny is Gothic, early Gothic in design, and it's the second longest cathedral in Ireland, second only to St. Patrick's in Dublin. It's a beautiful cathedral to visit and well worth your time if you are in Kilkenny. If you want to purchase tickets to climb the 100-foot round tower, it is an additional cost, just a couple euros the last time I was there, and you can grab those inside the cathedral. And finally, the third round tower that can be climbed it's on Devonish Island in County Fermanagh. So this is another one in Northern Ireland. Now, Devonish Island, there were 2 round towers there. Only one is intact now. The other one just is kind of the ruin of the base. This is the only round tower that you can climb that still has its conical cap on it, which makes it a really unique experience. So you're not climbing to the top and then you're in the free and open air. You are still under the cap of this round tower. The base of the cap has decorative cornice with carved heads above each of the 4 rectangular windows. And to get out to Devonish Island, there are commercial boat tours of Lower Loch Earn that can get you out there. Once you're on the island, you're also going to see multiple church ruins and an intricate high cross. So I hope you enjoyed this first in a series of podcast episodes that are going to kind of delve a little bit deeper and take you off the tourist trail a little bit to some experiences in Ireland that might tick your bucket list without going to a specific spot. I hope you enjoyed this new episode series that I've started. I would love to hear from you and get your thoughts on it. So don't forget that you can always email me with any comments or questions at Jody, Jody, at IrelandFamilyVacations.com. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to share that, you can leave a podcast review at Apple Podcasts. You can leave a star rating at Spotify. And if you can leave a rating at any other podcast player, I would be delighted. If you cannot leave a review at your podcast player, you can always log into the Ireland Family Vacations Facebook page and leave a review there. Or if you are an Instagram user and you listen to the podcast on your phone, go ahead and snap a screenshot of the podcast, pop it into your Instagram stories, tag me at Ireland Family Vacations, and say a couple nice things. As always, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, slán go fóill.